Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And today we're going to have a horrible Harry day. That's what I'm calling it, and it is of course my opinion. And the reason we're having this day today is because there's a cloud hanging over Harry, even a sword of Damocles, and that is the SMS that he sent to Dr. Sophie Chanduka, berating her for not coming out in support of Meghan Markle after Meghan kind of elbowed Sophie off the podium at the polo last year. We've all heard that story. Now it is being threatened that this letter or this SMS is going to be leaked. It's a subject of the Charity Commission's inquiry. But people are apparently so incensed by his behavior that this SMS might just appear in the public domain. So I'm going to look at this whole bullying thing that Harry is accused of by Sophie Chanduka. Because we've heard about Harry from little. We've heard about him crashing his little push car into someone's leg. I can't remember if it was a security guard or a servant or someone at Buckingham Palace. We've heard about him being rude to the Indian bus driver and Diana having to apologize and take him off the bus. We've heard about him throwing society women into the swimming pool at a very fancy party. We've heard about him basically slapping his own royal protection officer. We've heard all of those things. Those are all in the public domain. Those are all known. Those are all verified. But I don't have to say allegedly about those. But more allegations of bad behavior are coming out now as a result of the spat with Sophie Chanduka. The first one was a little snippet on British TV, someone telling a story of how when he was little, he lived near Kensington Palace, I think it was Kensington Palace, went to play in the jungle gym, a gingerhead brat came along and said, "No, you can't play here." And then who turned out to be Prince William came along and said, "No, it's okay, you can stay." Okay, that's been on British TV very recently. Someone reporting his own experience of Prince Harry as a very young bully. Then we've heard another story that's come out on social media, which many of you probably haven't heard. But this is a story that someone tells of how someone they knew lived around Highgrove. There's a pub there, Harry's watering hole, and was so belligerent. Didn't say as a drunk, but I'm reading in that he was a belligerent drunk, picked fights with everyone to the extent that people stopped going to the pub. This one I'm going to say allegedly because it's a comment on a social media platform. And it got so bad that, as I say, no one else would go to the pub, and it ended up being Harry's own drinking hole. Nobody else showed up. But apparently also he got his security guards to fight with the people that he'd picked fights with. So he would pick a fight and then send the security guards to finish the job physically. Allegedly. This is a rumor, I have to say, allegedly. But this tells a long tale from Tiny of bullying, of asserting himself over other people because of his status. I'm Prince Harry, and so I can do what the hell I like. So I'm going to do a bit of a deep dive into this whole bullying thing. I have the Shadowland Tarot on the tarot table. Today, this is your worse self rather than your better self, your shadow aspect that you project out unless you've integrated it into yourself, all your bad stuff that you project out into the world and blame everyone else for. It's a dark tarot. It's a scrappy, I didn't mean to say the other word, a scrappy little vulgar tarot. I think quite apt to read on Prince Harry in this context of his alleged bullying right from very little. We're going to ask if it's nature or nurture. We're going to ask about parental influence, father and mother, Charles and Diana. We're going to ask how Prince William handled it or how he felt about it way back when, and now how does he feel about Prince Harry being exposed in this way or called out for his bad behavior. Now we're going to ask about Meghan Markle's influence on this situation, because it seems to have possibly become worse? We don't know, because that sounds, all these anecdotes that I'm relating, they're all pretty bad, I have to say. And we have heard that they were very difficult to work for at Buckingham Palace, both Harry and Meghan, and that Harry possibly is implicated in that bullying report as much as Meghan Markle. And that might be, and this is pure speculation, rumour, that might be the real reason why that bullying report was never made public, because it really called Harry out for his awful behaviour as well. And the palace seems quite intent on covering up his bad behaviour for whatever reason. We are going to ask about Meghan's influence, and then I'm going to ask my last question for this reading. Will she ever use this against him? If it comes to it, and she needs ammunition against him, would she use this kind of behaviour against him and say, oh, she tried to get him to be nice and play nice with people, excuse me, and he wouldn't listen, and he was awful, and it was much worse in the marital home than out there in the world? It's possible. People do these things. I'm just asking because it's tarot, and it's entertainment, and it's all my opinion, and it's just an energy reading, and of course there is a disclaimer in the box below. Four of Cups in reverse. This is the do-over card. This is somebody who's previously been rejected, is pretty bored about things, indifferent, apathetic, that kind of energy, but is finally starting to get interested in things. I'm going to interpret this card quite differently than the way I normally do, because this is the energy that's coming through for me, the explanation that's coming through for me, my opinion, that this is something that has been suppressed. Don't look at it, look somewhere else, don't pay it any attention. And now that the card is in reverse, we're having a good look at it. It's very interesting to me that the Daily Mail is really going all out, all guns blazing at Prince Harry at the moment, and Meghan, dredging up old stories, which I was actually going to look at today, but this seemed more relevant for some reason. Old stories from working royal days that don't reflect well on either of them. So there's something going on in the ether. Maybe Daily Mail knows something about what is to come for the has-been. But this is telling me that something that was ignored, overlooked, suppressed, covered up, is now being, there's interest in it. Four of Cups is interest when it's in reverse. Suddenly, after years possibly of don't look here, look over there. That's how I'm reading that card. My energy reading, my tarot, and my opinion. Situation we're dealing with. We're dealing with the Five of Pentacles. This is the outcast. This is him. Isn't it interesting that it's depicted as old Sasquatch energy, Bigfoot, looking in at the little happy family, picnicking unawares in the woods or the forest even, unaware that this rough beast is looking at them across the river. That is such a descriptive way, a descriptive way of depicting the Five of Pentacles in this context of this shadow energy that he is almost overwhelmed by without realizing it. He projects it, blames everyone else. Oh, you're such bullies, you're such racists, you're so awful, you're so mean. But he's the one, in my opinion, that actually is those attributes, those characteristics. He embodies those. And so there we have this sort of primitive creature, unwelcome, left out of that little civilized picnic or party or whatever is going on, dancing around the fire, having a happy time. And he's looking on at them, feeling left out. But he's left out because of his animalistic nature. And I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not anything. So this is me doing a tarot reading and expressing my inexpert opinion. Five of Pentacles is left out, banished. And that's his feeling. And famously he said, I don't know if it was in Spare or where it was, he said quite recently that he worried as a child that they were going to chuck him out of the royal family. whether because of DNA and all the rumors about who was daddy, or because he wasn't good enough, he was too slow, he was too whatever, too ginger, I don't know. But he felt somehow that he didn't belong. And so there's the Five of Pentacles, and there is the energy representing itself. I think it's a fascinating depiction of his problem, the crux of the matter, in my opinion, of course. So we're going to look at nature and nurture now and see what's going on there. Some bad Spencer blood, possibly, but the Windsors have got equally bad blood in them when it comes to tantrums and sort of deviant behavior. Quite a few of them had quite deviant behavior. So let's get to it. Nature, what does nature have to do with Harry and his problems? Got the Knight of Cups. It's not giving me off energy. It's a card of love, the Knight of Cups. It's a card of wooing, being charming, being loyal, quite ingratiating, quite affable and lovely. So it's telling me in nature's sense, he could have been a very nice person. The Knight of Cups is a very nice person. A little bit too nice sometimes, where you think, really, should I buy what you're selling? But Knight of Cups generally, I would say, is quite a sweet energy. So nature, quite a sweet energy for him. How about nurture? Is this the fault of his upbringing? Not getting enough discipline, being allowed to think that he was above the law, sort of thing. What's going on there? Nurture, definitely nurture. Ten of Swords in reverse. Some great pain that happened, and yes, Mummy Diana died, but Mummy Diana also died for Prince William, and he handled it quite differently. But there is the calamity, the Ten of Swords, which is the end of the end of the end. Unfortunately, the anecdotes that I have told you in my preamble to this reading relate further back than Mummy dying. They relate back to little, almost to toddler, to preschool. And what's that about? But a very, very serious problem in the family, in the home, in the way of dealing with this person, that he ended up feeling thrown in the corner with all those arrows in him. Unwanted, unwelcome, useless, the spare. The spare thing obviously rankled from early, before Mummy Diana died. And the spare thing, I think, festered and festered. I've seen that over and over and over in these royal readings that I've done over the years. I see it consistently for Harry. This was a big deal. But there was something in the family, in the home environment, from when he was very little, that somehow he picked up, that damaged him very badly. Ten of Swords is maximum. It's dark night of the soul. It's ruin, it's death, it's the end. Life isn't worth living. The card is in the reverse. I read that as extra energy in this particular reading. That's my opinion. That's very sad if that's the case, that he picked up that energy and then embodied it. There's always a black sheep in the family, a scapegoat, a shadow energy in a family, according to Jung anyway. And Harry was the one. So that's again my inexpert opinion. Let's look at father and mother. Charles first, his involvement in this bullying, blame. Got the Six of Wands, which is the victory card, the triumphal homecoming. Maybe how I could read this energy of the Six of Wands is because it's glory and the self, and it can be a bit narcissistic. Maybe he was so intent on his own projects and his own psychodramas and his own trying to be popular with everyone and making Camilla acceptable to the world. I don't know. This is early days. This is before all of that. But maybe he was so intent on his own journeys and projects and endeavors that he didn't notice what was right at home. Didn't have much time for that. Harry has accused him openly of that. Now, bear in mind that Charles was brought up in exactly the same way and did try to modify that behavior and improve that behavior with William and Harry. He did try to be an engaged parent, despite what Harry has accused him of. And it's generational. Every generation makes a mess somewhere along the line. And then the next generation tries to turn that around and maybe overcompensates for it. And on we go. Parenting is a very inexact science, unfortunately. But yeah, it tells me that Charles was just busy doing his own stuff, his own thing, and not really noticing what was going on over here with the Ten of Swords. How about Princess Diana? Her blame, her level of blame. We've got the Eight of Pentacles, which is the working card, the monetizing card, the out doing stuff card. She doesn't strike me as someone who spent a lot of time out doing stuff, except being on the cover of loads of magazines, calling the paparazzi, all of that. She was a working royal for a long time, so let me not completely demean her when I say that. I'm talking about later, after the divorce, when she spent a lot of time making sure she was in the news. Very adept at that. But this is working mother, Eight of Pentacles. However you describe working mother in this royal context, both of them, it's telling me that both of them were busy doing stuff and didn't pay enough attention to Gingerbread, as he is called. Maybe nannies were involved. Nannies wouldn't want to get too serious about discipline maybe in that household, and would then be replaced by someone else. I don't know how it went. But these are not parents who are spending a lot of time with him. So I think they're both equally to blame. Put it that way. We're looking at blame today. We've asked nature, nurture. Now we're asking parents, Charles and Diana. They're equally to blame because they were always away doing stuff. Or he felt that they were away doing stuff. They might not literally have been away. It's how he perceived them. And of course, childhood is all about perception. So, William next. I want to know how William felt about it way back when, what he saw, what he felt, how he feels about it now that Harry has been called out for this behavior. So way back when, for Prince William, Three of Swords, he found it incredibly difficult. He was the one that was the go-between between his parents, managing the divorce, the hurt pre-divorce when they were just boys. He carried a lot of that wounding in him and still does. Three of Swords. So I think he always felt that he was the one that had to do the thing to fix the thing. Because there's three energies in the Three of Swords. There's three people. So Charles and Diana, and then poor Prince William. Or Harry and parents, or Harry and other people, and Prince William had to fix things. He was the fixer. And I don't mean it in a negative sense. He was the one who went and smoothed things over. So if Harry had done the bad thing, like try and chuck the little boy off the jungle gym, Prince William was the one who saw it and went over and said, no, you can stay. So Prince William was the one that was always on the lookout for this kind of behavior and then smoothing it over. And that would have gone, in my opinion, and this is all my opinion, all the way through childhood and into early manhood for the brothers, until you know who came along, and we are going to look at her in this reading. How does Prince William feel now about this whole thing? We got the Queen of Swords in reverse. It's very harsh. I think that's Sophie Chanduka's energy. This is your comeuppance. This is you meeting your match. This is somebody, it's not Meghan Markle, despite the great big black hair that's hanging all over the place. This is somebody who takes no prisoners, Queen of Swords in reverse. This is lawyer energy, strategist energy. This is someone who's very intelligent, very strategic, very well informed, very cold, and can be very ruthless. And I'm not saying that she is like that in her own life. I'm talking about only this situation with Senta Bali and that message that Harry sent her, which could allegedly be leaked very soon by certain rumours that are going around. So Prince William's looking at it and thinking, good luck with that, mate. You're going to need it. And no sympathy in there. Hurt beyond words as a boy. Now looking and thinking, well, as I said, good luck. So Meghan's influence on Harry and all of this. We see that she met him as an adult. He'd already had this behavior kind of entrenched, although we didn't really hear about it much at the time. Her influence on him, 5 of Wands, she made it worse. She made it more, and this is my opinion, she made it more competitive, made him more competitive, more aggrieved, because the 5 of Wands is all about competition, competing with your own siblings, team, family, partner, whatever. So she made him extra competitive, extra aggrieved, extra entitled, thinking he deserved more than he was getting. And it's in reverse, that's playing dirty, that is feeling aggrieved, that is over aggressive in your competition. And hence we got Spare and the Netflix documentary and the interviews and all the rest of it, and all the moaning and whining about I didn't get the extra sausage and blah blah. All of that stuff came from her. It was there in him because of what I'm interpreting as nurture, by and large. It was there in him. And she smelled it out. I should imagine that, my opinion, only purely speculating, that the one that really smelled it out was the one at Soho House, who was privy to him and Eugenie and all the rest of it, and might have heard things, seen things, overheard things, whatever. But I think it got weaponized. That's my opinion, that 5 of Wands in reverse. How about using it against Harry? Would Meghan is she keeping it as ammunition to use against him if she ever needs to, say, in a custody dispute or what's the word, maintenance dispute or something like that? Would she use it against him? I've got the Page of Cups, yes, because it's in reverse. It's children particularly. This could really go badly for Prince Harry if there's a custody dispute. And my spidey senses have been telling me that there is an ongoing issue with those children, and who gets to keep them, where they live, who they spend time with, who would ultimately get them if Harry and Meghan split up. Possibly Archie more than Lilibet, because Lilibet for me has a cloud over her that I really struggle to see through, and the cloud might mean that she stays in the United States. In my opinion, and this is just a wild speculation, a wild thought, unfounded, that she might stay with her actual birth mother. But there is a child energy in the Page of Cups. It's in reverse. If Harry has behaved in a bullying manner at home, a bit like Brangelina and how badly things went for Brad Pitt. If he's done something like that and it's been caught on camera, and we know that in that household cameras are forever rolling, then he's in big trouble. That's the reading. That's all my opinion. And that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.